Hey, Weiwei.
Hi, Mark.
Hi again. Hi
Good
again.
to see you.
You too. Hey, so I'm going to start off the questions, and it's pretty obvious, I think. But you've said that you're very visible, and you're out there, and you do it for people that aren't. And I was thinking that probably this is a reflection of that for this exhibition. We've got about 30 different people, so now it's their turn to be visible. Is that sort of the point of this, or?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to present those artists in the Groninger Museum, and we try to give a different views, different picture on what part of reality is about. So we are very. I'm very glad this is happening now, and thanks to the museum, thanks Mark, and the people who involved in this.
Okay. Hey, thanks. All right, it's your time. Anybody have a question?
Good evening. I think it's evening in Beijing, isn't it?
Yes, my dinner is already at the table, so I
Good.
am quite hungry.
Very good. My question is how different, what you talked about the different picture you wanted to show. What kind of different picture? What is the content of the different picture?
Well, the work we are showing here, not some of them are well-known artists, but most of them, I should say, is not considered as very well-known in China. Even some of the works really relate to kind of struggle in terms of judicial or law, and also many young people involved, many people, artists from more or less not so recognizable artists, not popular faces, but rather the works relate to a kind of real condition in China.
Is that a new social condition or a new historical or artistic position?
I think the condition has been like this for quite some times in China, since we don't have a clear a ground for artistic condition. We are still under very strong censorship. So to have an exhibition like this, creating by me and co-creating with Feng Boyi and Cui, which is not possible to have it done in China. Even our first Farkov exhibition in Shanghai was did kind of underground and was later shut off by police. So just to have an independent view, or to have to do the work differently, which is very difficult, and but that's our position. To say fuck off is showing the individual choice, to the power, to cultural power or state power.
Hi, Ai Weiwei. This is Andreas Blüm. I'd like to welcome you. I'm the new director of the Groninger Museum. Happy to have you here. We would have preferred to have you here in person. The show is fabulous. I would like to thank you and all the colleagues involved in this. My question is, will you have a chance to see the show before it's over, in person?
Well, I have a very brief tour by Mark, and of course we select all the works. I worked with the edit to edit the catalogs, so I'm quite familiar with the works. And
I think he meant, will you have the opportunity to come?
No, I and still I don't have the opportunity to have my passport back, and I'm not only lost my passport to the authorities, but also I don't have a clear answer about for what reason they like to keep my passport, or for what for how long, and this is something I can never figure out.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Hello, it's very pleasure to meet you this way. I'm working for Amnesty International, and you might know that we've been trying to work for you several years ago, also in the Netherlands. We paid attention to your situation through Foreign Affairs. Do you think it's helpful for you, the work of Amnesty?
I think Amnesty International is doing great job, or have always been, and still I think is really one of the main forces in insisting on human rights, or better human conditions, human rights conditions. So I think any effort is worth. And even we cannot see a clear result, but the effort is not only made for me, but for all the people who lost their voice. And many of them are still in jail, and many of them are still even being forgotten by others. So I think as a human society, we cannot let something happen like this. This is I'm sorry to say, that's very important and urgent to speak out, to show people our stand on human rights issues.
Could we do anything more?
Yes, you can just demonstrate, or you can do whatever is necessary, or you can it's just to show there's real concern on human rights, and on freedom of speech, because all our activity, all art, our culture are really based on individuals' ability to exercise the freedom of speech and to offer different opinions and ideas. I think only by doing that can be a healthy society, and can be a real a civil society, and it can protect our society from deteriorate into some kind of pitiful situation.
Could I maybe ask one more question? It's regarding this exposition. Many artists are displaying right now here in Europe, and we're not living under the same regime as you are. Do you think we can understand what you are trying to say to us?
I think there's a big cultural difference, and there's many issues which not necessarily you're familiar with, or not necessarily even I am familiar with. But I think that's the reason we have exhibitions, because we want to share the difference, and we want to recognize the difference.
Thank you.
Could I ask you a personal question? If you had the freedom to choose where you want to live, where do you want to live?
Well, I have no personal questions towards. I think this is. I like to. Well, I think where I am is where I choose to be. I never really feel regret about it. I think. I think where I am now is where I choose to be. Mm-hmm. And I never, even at the most difficult situation, I don't have the regret. And sometimes I do feel sorry. Certain things happen to me, which is almost come to a level of unbearable. And think about my children. Maybe I think, maybe they shouldn't suffer or share this kind of situation. But myself, which is okay as long as I still can talk.
My name is Joep van Ruiten from the Dutch newspaper, the Dagblad from the Norden. I only caught a glimpse of your exhibition, and I thought it was quite, it made me depressed, and it didn't give any hope. Is there any hope to be shown?
I think there's always hope. Whenever there's a voice, no matter how depressed that can be, the voice itself is a hope. Because you know, sometimes we have nothing, but we can give out our voice, and that's very luxurious, and we have to really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Astrid Heuker and I'm from local television. I'd like to know what your ultimate vision for China is, and when have you achieved your goal?
Well, I hope China can become a democratic society. So to talk about democratic society, we are thinking people can freely get the information and can have their own beliefs and can associate with whoever they want and can express their conditions or express their ideas. Now we are still, all those are still far away. So I think we are still have to make a lot of effort. The society still have to pay a great price because the government refuse to make a change. They refuse to really communicate. They refuse to give a chance to young people for them to freely to learn or to freely exercise their rights. So that only make China to pay bigger price because you know, there's just a lacking of effort in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Anne Burke from the Dutch Financial Times. I was wondering whether Fuck Off 2 would also be shown in China itself.
If my name is not there, I don't know. But if my name is in there, definitely we cannot show in China.
Because actually I think the aim is the Chinese public in a way. Is that your target for the communication?
Well, we try both. You know, we try to first to recognize those artists who is working in China and who has some difficulties to show their work. Some of them are quite successful, but some of them do have difficulty to let their voice to be heard. And also we try to explain to Western audience. I think Mark made a very good presentation because I see there's a lot of writing on board trying to explain the works, which I think is absolutely necessary. And yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, one more.
Do you understand Chinese artists who are obeying to the regime or at least not criticizing it?
I can understand, of course. I mean, most people are not really not giving their opinions because this region was very harsh on anybody who has different ideas by, you know, arresting me, by put a lot of people in jail. This region very successfully makes the public understand to have different opinion is very dangerous, and it can cost yourself or your friends or your family, and in great pain. So that's how they maintain this, and yeah, I think most artists are not used to or not trained to give out the independent idea voice.
Is there an improvement in the situation? I mean, China is not North Korea. It's more like an open society now.
No, that's not true. If you talk about open society, you have to have a Google, you have to have a YouTube, you have to have a Twitter or Facebook. If you don't have all those, then people cannot give out their criticism on the internet, somebody like me cannot to have my name to be to tapped on the internet, and what kind of society that is. It looks fine. It looks just like so many people think it looks just like West. Maybe it's better than the West. They have a lot of high buildings and very big road. But in the reality, it's nothing changed since the 1949. There's still one party system. The people still, after 60 years, nobody can vote, and you can still be put in jail because you have different kind of ideas, and how could you think that looks fine?
No, I don't say it looks fine, but perhaps there's an improvement if you compare it with 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, I think there's a lot of improvement in terms of money and in terms of many things, but no not improvement with ideology. There's nobody really. I think they have to survive all the improvement because they very practically want to survive. And they want to maintain this kind of control. So, but that improvement is at the cost of the sacrifice generations of people's passion, imagination, creativity. They sacrifice environment. All the food are poisoning, water is poisoning. And the whole society is completely corrupted, and I don't know, they're selling the land, which and they don't follow the law, which made by them, made by themselves.
Yeah. But yeah. So when I listen to you, you think the main problem is the party, the Communist Party. That has to change.
I wouldn't say that the parties is a problem, but the system is a problem. Party is part of the system. The whole system is a problem. The culture also has problem, but the party is one has to bear responsibility because they are the one in control and in charge for past 6 years. If after 6 years you cannot let your people to vote, and you every day you talk about your people's government, but this is ridiculous, and you also cannot give out a schedule. If you cannot let people vote in the next 60 years or in 100 years, what's in your mind? Now you only talk about China's dream. What is the dream?
Perhaps. Can we talk about why did you choose those artists? Talk about art. What kind of art did you choose?
Well, there's 2 other curators. They're also very responsible for what we did. So so maybe just ask them. It's easier.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any others? Oh, one more, and then we'll call it a day.
You have lived in the United States for over 10 years. How has this
12
influenced?
years.
12 years, yes. How has this influenced you and your thinking?
Well, when I was in the secret detention, when they trying to interrogate me, the final conclusion is, Ai Weiwei, you must watch too many Hollywood movies.
Okay, thank you.
So they think I'm very much influenced by the West. I don't really think so. I have in 50 years, I lived 40 years in China, and I also understand my father's generation. And I'm very deeply understand today's society. I'm very much involved. I'm not a person just like to criticize. I like China to become stronger and healthier and happier for everybody. But I think there's a few voices still can, that's why I always criticize them, because there's no other voice.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Weiwei, because we're not going to Skype you at the opening, I was wondering, could you just say, we say cut, and then could you just sort of say a welcome to everybody at the opening? Do you mind doing that?
Okay, I love to say welcome everybody to the show, to the opening. I think I feel very warm and very happy people still pays attention and care about what's happening in far away. And I think the museum and Mark, with their dedication and passion, and our colleagues, I think I really very grateful for what's happening now. Thank you.